There is a certain silence that speaks louder than sound, a pause that pulls you in, a glance that says everything without a single word. Aaliyah had that power. She didn't just perform, she floated through space like a whispered secret only meant for those paying close enough attention. In an industry loud with ego, spectacle, and oversharing, Aaliyah became iconic by doing the opposite. Her silence wasn't emptiness, it was design, a psychological blueprint. And in this episode, Melodic Minds, we're unpacking how Aaliyah mastered the art of mystique and why that mystery still echoes long after her final note. To understand Aaliyah's presence, we have to understand mystique itself. Psychologically, mystique is the tension between visibility and elusiveness. It's not about being distant, it's about being deliberate. People are drawn to what they can't fully grasp. Mystique keeps the brain curious, craving more, and searching for meaning. It activates what psychologists call the Zenarch effect, our tendency to remember and obsess over the incomplete. Let's talk about her voice. It was soft, airy, nearly whispered at times, but don't mistake it for weakness. Aaliyah's vocal style was psychological precision. By choosing restraint over power, she invited listeners closer. Her tone created intimacy, pulling us into her emotional world without force. This is known in psychology as the paradox of softness, the idea that subtlety can be more persuasive and magnetic than volume. Aaliyah didn't demand attention, she seduced it through presence, timing, and control. Then there's her body language, another layer of mystique. She rarely faced the camera head on. Often she looked to the side, her eyes shaded by sleek sunglasses or long strands of hair. This partial concealment told a story of protection and allure. According to nonverbal communication studies, avoiding direct gaze can signal confidence and self-possession. It creates a barrier, but not one built out of insecurity. Aaliyah's glances suggested she was in control of how much she had let the world see. It made her feel untouchable yet deeply intriguing, a real-life Mona Lisa smile in motion. Fashion was another tool in her psychological playbook. Aaliyah's signature style, oversized pants, bandanas, sunglasses, and mid-drip tops struck a balance between tomboy toughness and feminine allure. She layered herself physically just as she did emotionally. The contrast between cover and reveal kept audiences in that same space of curiosity. Fashion psychologist Dr. Carolyn Mayer knows that how we dress sends subconscious signals. Aaliyah's wardrobe said, "You may look, but you don't get to define me." Every fit was a boundary, a silent message, a riddle in fabric. Even her interviews followed the same pattern. She was soft-spoken, polite, but always just out of reach. Rarely did she over-explain or overexpose. In a media landscape desperate for drama, Aaliyah practiced restraint. That wasn't by accident, it was protection, branding, and power. It was emotional intelligence. Psychologists describe this kind of self-regulation as strategic ambiguity. When used well, it builds trust and fascination. By saying less, she made every word matter. She let room for people to project, wonder, and attach meaning. That's where mystique is born, in the space between what is and what could be. Aaliyah's music mirrored this aura too. Songs like One in a Million, Rock the Boat, and We Need a Resolution weren't just sonic experiences, they were emotional riddles. Her lyrics often spoke of longing, secrecy, and tension. There was always something unsaid beneath the beat. Paired with Timbaland's futuristic production and Missy Elliott's boundary-pushing creativity, Aaliyah's sound became hypnotic, a blend of vulnerability and armor. Every track felt like a dream you weren't quite ready to wake up from. What's perhaps most powerful is that Aaliyah didn't need controversy or chaos to hold public attention. She didn't rely on spectacle, she relied on energy. Her presence lingered even when she left the room. That's rare. That's psychological magnetism. In a world where we often equate visibility with value, Aaliyah proved the opposite, that depth, silence, and inner knowing could make someone more iconic than any scandal ever could. Her mystique also gave her longevity. After her passing, fans didn't feel like they knew everything about her, and that's what kept the connection sacred. Mystique builds timelessness because it doesn't inspire with trends. It leaves behind wonder. Aaliyah's legacy still feels alive because it never felt overexposed. It left room for dreaming, reflection, and longing. So what can we learn from Aaliyah's psychology of Mystique? That power doesn't always shout, that presence can be felt through pauses, that intimacy isn't about exposure but intentionality. Aaliyah gave the world just enough to feel close while preserving her spirit for herself. And in that quiet resistance, she carved out a legacy that still dances in our collective memory, soft, slow, and unforgettable. Because sometimes the most magnetic voices are the ones that whisper. And Aaliyah, she whispered with fire. Aaliyah didn't just walk through this world, she glided, leaving a trail of elegance, strength, and enigma. In her silence we found sound. In her mystery we found meaning. Her aura was her message, and it still speaks, loudly, softly, and eternally.